Hello everybody, my name is Bragster and welcome to another TEW video with Impact Wrestling. I know I've been away a while from TEW. I've just not had the time to do it. I want to get back to doing it again. Obviously this has been an extremely long series and been going for a very long time. So I think I might make the decision to go to Slammiversary and then end it there, and then maybe start another TEW series when I come up with a decent idea and want to take a decent break from it, because I just don't want to get bored of TEW. I feel like going for more than a year sometimes can be can take a while and can be a bit so yeah, obviously if I was streaming and stuff, I'd probably stream like past the year bit and get you guys involved, but I don't do that because I just don't have time. So yeah, we'll definitely go to Slammiversary and then we'll make a decision there. But without further ado, the last episode of Impact, which is definitely needed a refresher of, the War Games match was announced. That was finally announced after all that time. We also had Johnny Gargano defeat Rick Swan. The Sons of Perfection defeat the Dinas, which I think meant that the Sons of Perfection will face the Motor City Machine Guns at the pay-per-view. Tasha Steelz defeated Kylie Ray to get in that 5-way match. Yeah, we just had loads of stuff going on. Warhorse winning and Miro destroying Tommy Dreamer was another highlight of the week, getting us a 57 rating. So we are only, I think, a couple of weeks away from the pay-per-view. Yeah, week 3. So Lockdown is week 3 of Saturday week 3. So we are 2 shows away from the final, you know, and all of it coming together. So yeah, I'm gonna we've got some mail here. I've completely lost the plot. Sammy Callahan has been known to blah blah blah, that doesn't really matter. An explosion results, and then here we've got contract negotiations with Kalisto, as someone that is actually been released in real life and many people believe might end up in Impact as one of the cruiserweights. I think it'd be a really good idea. I do like Kalisto. I feel like he's one of those. It'll be really useful to have in the X division. I'm trying to work out how to use people that maybe don't use promos as much and stuff, and just trying to build off of that. So hopefully it works. We'll find out. But yeah, I'm going to complete the signing of Kalisto and we're going to see where he fits it. Right, so NXT have had their Los Angeles takeover, which had a 72 rating, had almost 1.8 million viewers. Attendance was 14,500, so that's a lot more. We can't compete with that at all. Adam Cole defeated Pete Dunne in the main event for the NXT title. That ended up with a 78 rating. I am not surprised, because both that match would be incredible. Karrion Kross and Keith Lee defeated Tommaso Ciampa and Cameron Grimes. I'd actually like to see that match, weirdly. Velveteen Dream defeated Timothy Thatcher for the North American title. Io Shirai defeated Shotzi Blackheart for the NXT Women's title. And Drake Maverick and Dexter Lumis defeated Marcel Barthel and Damian Priest. And the real main event, is Bronson Reed and Isaiah Swerve Scott to retain the NXT Tag Team titles. Really good show by NXT here. They really pulled out all the stops, so fair play to them. And I thought some of you guys might be interested in that. Right, and along with the NXT takeover comes WrestleMania 37, where Daniel Bryan defeated Drew McIntyre for the WWE title in the main event. Below that, you had Roman Reigns defeat Braun Strowman for the Universal title for 80. Randy Orton defeated John Cena, we've seen that billions of times, for an 88 rating. An 87 rating down here, where The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Brock Lesnar defeated Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles. That would never happen, ever. But I love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. It was Nikki Cross defeating Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's title to retain it. That's a bit weird, because that's what's happened in real life. Miz and Morrison defeated the Viking Raiders for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. So yeah, another really good show. 80 rating, having a 35,000 in attendance and over 3 million viewers. Just wow. Just wow. I mean, I can't, like, obviously I can't compete with Mania, but really good Mania by WWE there. Right, so I've booked the show. It's a jam-packed show with about 18 segments in it. So this show is just going to be incredible. Well, I hope it's going to be incredible. It's just full from top to bottom. We are racing towards lockdown now. Next week is the go home show, so there's a lot of setup for that go home show, because it's possibly, especially for a show like Lockdown, it's possibly the most important go home show for any of my pay-per-views, because there's just so much setup going into it. You know, we've got that War Games match, we've got the Scramble match, so we need to set those up very, very nicely, and we're getting to that now. Let's just see what this show produces, eh? So we start off the show with a 72 rated segment where Mick Foley comes out. The show starts with Mick Foley's music, and he calls out Miro and he calls out Jeff Hardy, and he talks about Jeff Hardy and his, you know, he came in as this big signing that was ruined by Darga, and, you know, he suspended Darga. He wants Darga's out the way until after lockdown. Miro's coming off the back of, you know, that loss to Ace Austin really tore him apart, and he'd started destroying everyone. But Mick Foley's, you know, he's dealt with the hatred. It went away from Tommy Dreamer, and he's gone, right, I'm going to set up a match for the ages. At Lockdown, it will be Miro versus Jeff Hardy, and the winner will face the winner of Johnny Gargano and Ace Austin at Slammiversary. That's right, at Slammiversary, it'll be Miro or Jeff Hardy versus Johnny Gargano or Ace Austin. So it is two big matches now set up for the next two pay-per-views. We know where this is going now. So yeah, this match probably, for some of you, came out of absolutely nowhere. Both of these, I feel like, both Miro and Jeff Hardy need this match. You know, this big match that could steal the show, and I just thought, what stakes could I add to it? And a title match is exactly the stakes that are needed for this kind of match. What a way to start the show. Then after that, we got a 41 rated segment where Heath defeated Rhino in 15 minutes by pinfall with his sweetness. Rhino was battering Heath throughout the match, and Heath just managed to get a flurry, get through it with the crowd, and pulled through, and he was able to defeat Rhino, which is a big win for Heath, and will set him on the path now to wherever he goes next. Then we've got a 63 rated segment. I love Enzo Amore. Melina tells Enzo Amore that, look, she doubted him, but after the win on Explosion, maybe they have a chance. Maybe there is something that Enzo is bringing to Tennille and Melina's game that is just going to propel them to those tag team titles, and they look excited. Enzo Amore with superb working without the script. Tennille Dashwood did some great stuff. Enzo benefited from a hot catchphrase. Tennille benefited from a hot catchphrase. These guys, this storyline has just been saved. by Enzo Amore. Yeah, I can't believe he saved it either, but Enzo said, I really like the pairing of Melina and Tennille. I think they've both got a very similar style, you know, they like this, you know, oh, look at me, I'm really good, you know, I'm better than everyone else. That attitude, it radiates off of both of them, and Enzo Amore just will probably bring it out of them more. And I really like the pairing beforehand, but with Enzo, it's flourishing, and they're going to appear on Impact every single week, and their popularity is just going to go through the roof because of the stuff with Enzo Amore. And then the segment ratings are only going to get better from there, so I'm loving this. After that, we got a 51 rated segment where there's a hype package for the cage match between Man Fulton and Shamrock next week. The match was announced on the last episode that Shamrock and Fulton will be fighting on the Go Home show. What we didn't tell you, it's a cage match. I feel like with Shamrock's history in MMA and Man Fulton being the build he is, I feel like almost like a shoot MMA style thing in a cage could be really good for both of these guys. Almost similar to what Jake Hager and Wardlow did a few weeks back. May have been more than a few weeks back, to be honest. But when what they did, I want to do a similar thing with Man Fulton and Ken Shamrock here. Then we got a 42 rated segment where Maria Kanellis talks about last week's embarrassment and how Brian Myers embarrassed Allure. And she sets up a match with Brian Myers and the Butcher. Obviously, Brian Myers tries and weasels his way out of it, but Maria goes, no, I've got the referee here. It's happening. So that's what's next. And it's a 37 rated match where the Butcher defeated Brian Myers in about 10 minutes by pinfall. The Butcher got a 42 rating, Brian Myers with a 41. The Butcher dominated Brian Myers here. There was just, you know, whenever Brian Myers got ahead of the game, Maria or Mike would get involved and the Butcher would just take over. And almost similar to that Bobby Lashley Kofi match where Kofi just got no offense in. That's what this match was. You know, Brian got off to a good start, but that was it. The Butcher just took over and obliterated him. Next up, we got a 28 rated segment where Melissa Santos is talking to Rohit Raju and Davey, who challenge Manic and Suicide to a tag team match, a classic tag team match next week. It should be a good match. Rohit Raju and Davey are decent in the ring, and we know how good Manic and Suicide are. Hopefully Manic and Suicide have decent chemistry as tag team partners, and if they do, they could be a formidable team in the tag team division for the foreseeable future. Unfortunately, Rohit Raju and Davey didn't do well without script, which brought it down quite a bit. Next up is a 43 rated segment where RVD talks about his career and that losing to Jake Christ would be embarrassing. Unfortunately, this segment did not do too well. Jake Christ is the better talker out the two, but I thought RVD needs to talk about his career and really build this match up. Unfortunately, RVD's dialogue was awful, so that's two bad segments on the bounce. Hopefully that doesn't punish the show too much. Next up is a 47 rated segment where the North and the Rascals are fighting backstage again. Mick Foley helps break them apart with all the referees and a few of the lower card talent. And Foley goes, do you know what? You can't keep your hands off of each other. Let's trap you at Lockdown. Let's trap you in a steel cage. You are in, so they're going to be in the War Games cage. It's just not a War Games match, if you get what I mean. So the War Games is obviously 2 rings and the cage. That's what these guys will be fighting in. It just won't be a War Games match. They're all starting in the ring. That's kind of made clear online and all that bollocks. But yeah, that's basically what this match is. It'll be a 3-on-3 in the War Games cage, but it's just a steel cage match, basically. So yeah, it should be a really good match between these two teams. I'm really excited. Next up is a 41 rated segment where EC3 defeated Brendan Webb in 14 minutes with the Sweet Meat Sizzler. EC3 got a 56, Brendan Webb with a 14. Unfortunately, EC3 sustained a swollen calf muscle, which probably brought down the match rating a little bit. But with Brendan Webb getting only a 14, EC3's performance was, you know, essential. You know, I like Brendan Webb, so we're going to have to build him up a little bit, but it's going to take a while for that to happen. But yeah, decent match there. There is backstage heat on Brendan Webb after his botch caused EC3 to get hurt. That's not good. But after the match, there's a 44 rated segment where EC3 lifts the hand of Brendan Webb, hopefully just getting the crowd on Brendan Webb's side after they've seen, you know, how good he can be, because I think he's a good addition. So I'm trying to put him over as best I can. Then we've got a 56 rated segment where the Motor City Machine Guns, they questioned Gargano's actions and whether they can trust him. They're just like, look, last week and the way you've been with Rick Swann these last few weeks, we don't like. You know, we're a big fan of Rick Swann. We're good friends with Rick Swann. You know, what's going on and all of this. And Johnny Gargano reassures him. He's like, look, guys, relax. I'm fine. You can trust me tonight in a tag team match between Ace Austin and the Sons of Perfection facing Johnny Gargano and the Motor City Machine Guns. That the match will be is hyped throughout the night, but this is where it's referenced properly in a segment before the main event. But yeah, so it's just the Motor City Machine Guns aren't sure if they can trust Johnny Gargano, but he assures them they can. Then we've got a 50 rated segment where where Walt, I can't really pronounce his last name, I'm going to have to get used to it. It's Aiden English, but that's what his name on the indies is now. So I thought I'd give him that because, you know, I was calling him Aiden English because that's who he was. But obviously the Drama King, I was waiting for his indie name. He's finally revealed his indie name and he's actually going to Impact. Weirdly enough, he's gone to Impact. Like, some of my signings have been weird. You know, even Thunder Rosa turned up in Impact the other week. So apparently my signings are what happens in Impact, apparently. But yeah, so Rewalt talks to the 5 women who are in the Scramble match at the pay-per-view and talks about the match next week. It'll be a 5-woman match, just straight up, fatal 5-way. And the winner of the match will come out last in the Scramble, meaning that all the rest will be battered and they can come in and hopefully pick up the pieces. So it's a big match to gain an advantage at the pay-per-view. I added Elijah Burke in as well to hype up Tasha Steelz, because I know Tasha Steelz isn't the best on the mic on the game. So I was hoping it would bump the rating up, and it has bumped the rating up. And Matthew Rewalt being in there, you know, there could be a little thing between Elijah Burke and Rewalt, and talking about the fact that, you know, he doesn't want Burke being there, he just wants to focus on the women, and Burke tries to take the focus off of the women and just onto Steelz and the Kingdom and all of that. Can just create a bit of tension between the two, which would be nice. Then we've got a 42 rated segment where Serena Deeb walks to the ring with a trash can full of weapons, where it's got like sledgehammer in, a kendo stick in, barbed wire bat in, and all of this, just with a bunch of weapons. And she calls for Su Yung and says, our match is now, and it's a hardcore match, come to the ring. So Su Yung comes to the ring and the match begins. What will the match be? 45! That's more like it. So Su Yung defeats Serena Deeb in 13 minutes by pinfall with the Yellow Fever. Serena Deeb with a 35, Su Yung with a 45. Su Yung benefited from a hot new move. This hardcore match seemed to work. I was worried it wouldn't work like the ODB match, but this one really seemed to work, and I built it up a bit more as well with the segment beforehand, and it really seemed to help, and I'm really happy with that. It's a really good women's match, especially for one that I wasn't sure on. It's not been built up on the main card, so their popularities haven't been going up, but fair play to the women. Then we've got a 46 rated segment where Swann is confronted by Eric Young backstage, who taunts him about his loss, you know, just starts circling Rick Swann backstage and talks about, you know, who can you trust anymore, blah blah, I'm the closest thing you have to a friend, and all of this, just trying to get in the head of Rick Swann, and Rick Swann's just trying to shake it off. Almost reminiscent of Trey versus Sami Callihan. I know, like, I'm taking a lot of things from things that have happened in the world, but you can always compare a feud to what's been going on in many different promotions, especially when you watch all the different promotions. And, you know, when Sami Callihan was talking about Trey's passion and all of this, it's like a similar sadistic thing, but more about, like, they're friends. We're friends. We're destined to be together. Like, Eric Young's just sadistic nature getting to Rick Swann. Then we've got a 55 rated segment where Elijah Burke and Eddie Edwards decide on, it will be in the main event next week, Chris Bay versus Willie Mack, and in a last man standing match, the winner of that last man standing match will have their team get the advantage in the War Games match. I know that sounds really complicated, but basically it'll be Bay versus Willie Mack in a last man standing match in the main event next week. The winner and the faction that they're with will get the advantage, so we'll have the people come into the match first so they can get that advantage going. But yeah, Chris Bay and Willie Mack have had many matches in the past. I tried to find what match would be. I wanted maybe a ladder match, but I know we can't do that on weekly TV. That's a problem we've had in the past. But I thought a last man standing match is a very good type of match that, you know, these two can put on. And I think they might have fought in a last man standing match before. They've got a lot of history, Chris Bay and Willie Mack. And, like, Eddie Edwards and Elijah Burke both decided on these through their endurance. They know that Willie Mack and Chris Bay just have the most endurance. Moose and Shane Taylor were there as, like, the henchmen. Moose kind of pitched that he wanted to do it, but Eddie Edwards said, no, you know, we need you to be 100% at the pay-per-view sort of thing. They know Willie Mack can recover very quickly from injuries due to how bloody good in the ring he is. So yeah, 55 rating, nice stuff. And the main event, this is a risky one. I don't know how it's going to go. 66 rated match. Wow. So Johnny Gargano and the Motor City Machine Guns defeated Ace Austin and the Sons of Perfection in 20 minutes when Johnny Gargano pinned Ace Austin with a Hertz donut. Davey Boy Smith Jr. 45, Joe Hennig 49, Ace Austin 60, Chris Sabin 59, Alex Shelley 61, Johnny Gargano 59. It's boosted the heat of all the rivalries by a country mile. 66 rating to finish the show. That might be one of our best tag matches. It might be one of our best matches, actually. I'll have to check that. But let's finish the show. 65 rated show. I am ecstatic with that. You know, we fell off a little bit here with the Butcher match and this sort of area where the Butcher match, the Davari segment and the RVD segment, it kind of fell off a little bit. But we started strong. We finished strong. I'm really happy with that. 65 rating is unbelievable for, you know, for us. And to get a 66 in that main event, especially with a team like Sons of Perfection. Sons of Perfection aren't the best team. You know, Motor City Machine Guns are. They are an incredible team. But, you know, the Sons of Perfection aren't that brilliant team that everyone, you know, that everyone would expect to put on the best matches. So I'm really happy with that. So we'll look at this. EC3 injured, I'll have to have a look at that more. Someone wanted me to mention, they put it in the comments of the last video, they wanted me to mention the viewership more. So basically in this one we got 161,000 viewers overall. That's one of our highest. I think that's much higher than what we had last week. I'll have to check that. Let me check. So we got 161 there. Yeah, we got about 150 the week before and 140. So we are rising massively, but that match really did help. Let's look at the top 100. Let's look at the matches. That is our best match yet. That was on a normal Impact. That was a 3-on-3 match, a thrown together match that I thought would be really cool to do. and it was our best match in the history of our time at Impact. So wow, what a match, what a match. I'm really happy with that. That is the first one to beat the Miro versus Eddie Edwards match at Bound for Glory. That was one of our first that was our first pay-per-view. So we have finally beaten the rating from our first ever pay-per-view with that match. That's amazing. I'm really happy with that. Chuffed to bits. We'll look at our size and see if we've increased anywhere. I don't think we have too much. No, we've barely increased. We've increased in one or two areas, but not too much. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. We'll move forwards and I'll show you the ratings of AEW and NXT and see how they've done, because we did put on a really good show this week, so hopefully we might be able to beat one of them. Right, so we can have a look at AEW and NXT in a minute. So we'll start off with AEW because we never really hit the heights of AEW. They got a 74 rating. Their total viewers was 1.2 million. Obviously, we only got... what did we get in the end, actually? I've completely forgotten. We only got 161,000. That's the levels difference. John Moxley defeated Darby Allin in the main event for 84. And then there was a 72 rating match where MJF and Brian Cage defeated Broken, Matt Hardy, and Pac by disqualification. Some really good stuff there by AEW. I just know they're a class above me at the moment. We beat NXT. We beat NXT. Get in. NXT got a 63 rating. They got 1.7 million viewers. A lot of theirs come from WWE Network. If you take away the WWE Network, they got a 240,000 viewers. Their main event was Keith Lee and Karrion Kross defeating Velveteen Dream and Pete Dunne for 67. So they did beat us on the better match, but we beat them on a better show. They got a 0.32 TV rating. What was our TV rating? 0.18. So we are a bit behind there. We only got 140,000 without including the extra bits. So we are about 100,000 behind NXT, but we're miles behind AEW. AEW are just a class above at the moment with their TV ratings and stuff. They're competing with the likes of WWE. We're definitely competing with NXT. That is definitely our level. Right, so we got some backstage incidents. One with Jeff Hardy, where he gave the locker room a lift with some spot-on impressions. Really good stuff. And one between Ken Shamrock and Mick Foley, where Ken Shamrock was brought before the rest of the court, accused of failing to pick up his share of the tab at the bar. And then Mick Foley told him to pick up some drinks. Ken Shamrock's got an intense personality and is currently annoyed, apparently, but it's had a small positive impact, thank God. So I'll book Explosion and then I'll show you what happens. Right, so I've booked the show and I'm happy with it again. You know, it's harder as it comes closer to the pay-per-views to do these types of shows because not many people are missing out. So you probably will notice a lot of it will be like women's segments a lot of the time, just because it's the division that is dwindling the most at the moment, and because we've got the one main story in the women's division. Other than that Su Yung one we had, that's finished now. So we've got that one main story with the 5 women. So apart from those 5 women, not many people are being used. And obviously it was the women's showcase, so it has boosted the popularity of the women a lot. So I'm trying to keep that momentum going by really trying to show off the women on Explosion, and hoping that maybe it might help their popularity go up a little bit. It won't help it too much, but maybe just a little bit. So we start off the show with a 33 rated segment where Deonna Purrazzo calls out Kimber Lee, who's her opponent for tonight. Lacey Ryan attacks her on the way down. It's just beating down Kimber Lee, with Deonna Purrazzo looking very proud of herself. Kylie Ray runs in for the save, helping out Kimber Lee. And yeah, Scott D'Amore comes out and goes, right, I wanted a singles match between Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly, but clearly you guys can't keep your hands off each other, so it'll be a 2 versus 2 match. Deonna Purrazzo and Lacey Ryan versus Kimberly and Kylie Rae. To which that match is a 37 rated match where Deonna Purrazzo and Lacey Ryan defeated Kimberly and Kylie Rae in 14 minutes when Deonna Purrazzo submitted Kimberly with a Fujiwara armbar after blatantly cheating. So, you know, just doing the classic of hitting someone with a weapon while the referee's not looking. A classic thing there. Deonna Purrazzo was head and shoulders above everyone else and Lacey Ryan was the weak link. I did expect that. That's why I put them two together to hopefully keep the rating up, which is exactly what it did. Kylie Rae 33, Kimberly 34, Lacey Ryan 24, but obviously Deonna Purrazzo with a 43 rating. Obviously Deonna Purrazzo isn't really doing much at the moment, so we're just keeping her ticking over and keeping her busy while she's out of the title picture, because that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted her out of the title picture just for a bit, because, you know, she's been in there a while before Kairi Hojo came in, so I felt like it was the right decision. Next up, we got a 49 rated segment where Brian Myers questions the Warriors of Pain and is like, well, why didn't you help me? Why didn't you help me? And the Warriors of Pain just laugh him off and just go, you literally have been beating us up the last few weeks. Why should we help you? Why should we go out of our way to help somebody that is blatantly, you know, tried to beat us up, this, that, and the other? And Brian Myers just feels alone. He looks alone and he feels alone. So yeah, Brian Myers not okay at the moment. Next up, we got a 51 rated segment where there's a Su Yung video package. She's a star, isn't she, Su Yung? Su Young's just had a video package. It's a reminder of what she did to Kylie Rae, a reminder of what she did to ODB, and a reminder of what she did to Serena Deeb, as well as like her talking over the top in her own cryptic manner. Next up, we got a 30 rated match where Davey and Rohit Raju defeated TNT in 12 minutes when Davey submitted Tyrell Dudley with a camel clutch. Rohit Raju got a 36, Davey with a 35, and then the Dudley brothers at 17 and 18. Really good by Rohit Raju and Davey. That gives me hope that I think it will be about a 40 rated match. I'm hoping it would tip it above, because I know that Suicide and Manic can both hit those 50 marks. I can very much see that happening, and hopefully it does. Next up, we got a 42 rated segment where Nevaeh and Havoc give advice to the Dinas over the number 1 contenders match. They go, last week we studied your match. We feel like you could have done this better, blah, blah, blah. And Cody Dina and Cousin Jake are listening, but you can see that they're just not sure whether to listen or not. So yeah, it's just a little interaction between these two teams. I can possibly see there being like a friendly rivalry between these two, of almost them trying to teach each other different things, because they're a credible tag team, but they're, you know, a credible tag team themselves, Nevaeh and Havoc. So it'd be interesting to see where this like rivalry goes, I guess. I just thought it was a nice way of getting the Dinas into something almost immediately, even though they'd lost the number 1 contenders match. And next up, we've got a 49 rated segment where this is the spotlight on Kiera Hogan. Basically, Stephen Amell, Kiera Hogan, Mick Foley, Peter Williams, and Tommy Dreamer. So this is all about Kiera Hogan. I've been doing these for a few weeks now where I put the spotlight on someone. I thought it'd be really good just to add like the likes of Stephen Amell, Mick Foley, Peter Williams, Tommy Dreamer, and get them talking about these talents. You know, I've seen AEW do it a few times where they get like Jim Ross, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega and stuff like that to talk about a talent that's not really mentioned on TV too much. And I kind of wanted to do that here with Kiera Hogan. Kiera Hogan obviously lost to Tasha Steelz in the tournament, but kind of, you know, them saying that don't take that loss too lightly. She will be back and better than ever. And it really did up it. Stephen Amell, Kiera Hogan and Pete Williams were the ones that did well without a script, but Mick Foley and Tommy Dreamer struggled. But it's just a good way of getting Kiera Hogan more popular. And the main event is a 37 rated match where Rick Swann defeated Brian Cook in 15 minutes with a tornado spin kick. Rick's one with a 44, Brian Cook with a 22. They both have good chemistry. I'm pretty sure I didn't know that personally, but I'm pretty sure I've already done this match. So it's just a nice little match to give Rick's one a nice win on his way into the next few weeks. Nearly revealed what I wanted to do with Rick's one there. But yeah, 37, nice stuff, which leaves a show rating of 40. So yeah, that is it for this episode. Explosion was obviously a bit weak, but you can't help it when everyone's on the main show at the moment. Everything's just intertwined and is just all timey-wimey bollocks. But yeah, that is it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, make sure to hit that like button to show me that you are still enjoying this series, even though I did take a pretty long break. Sorry about that. Comment down below what matches you're excited for on the Lockdown pay-per-view, as well as what you're excited for next week. Who do you think are going to win between Mac and Bay in that last man standing match? You know, that 5-woman match as well, the 5 participants in the scramble. Who's going to come away with the victory to get that advantage in the scramble match as well? There's so many things you can put down in the comments down below, so make sure to do that. And if you're new here, please do subscribe, because trust me, you do not want to miss this pay-per-view. It is, next episode is the penultimate one, and then you've got the pay-per-view. So it's the go home show next week, so you don't want to miss that, and you definitely don't want to miss the pay-per-view. So hit that subscribe button so you do not miss it. And I shall see all of you in the next video. See ya!